Hi everyone, welcome to A Stitch in Time. Today is Tuesday, July 26th, 2022, and this is episode 225. My name is Carol, my Ravelry name is Knits and Pearls, and I live in the Fraser Valley of British Columbia, Canada, where it's going to be a hot one. We're going through a bit of a heat wave right now. Today's supposed to be the hottest day this week at 34 Celsius or 93 Fahrenheit with a humidex of 37 or 98.6, or what I call too damn hot. I've decided to record early this morning before the worst heat of the day, and if you've been watching for a while, you might recognize my alternate background. This is one of our spare rooms downstairs, and it provides the best light in the morning for recording, that is. I've actually had to pull down the shade because it was too bright with the sun shining through. It's already starting to feel a little warm in here, so I'm going to get right to things. First, before I show you what I've been working on, I just want to remind you that the Year of the Stash Make-Along is taking place in the A Stitch in Time podcast Ravelry group. There is a chatter thread that's going on all year long, and there's also a personal sock yarn club each month. So come by, check out the first post in the relevant threads, and that will give you all the information you need to know to take part. We are approaching the end of the month, so in my first regular episode in August, I will announce the July chatter winners and also I guess it would be the June winners for the personal sock yarn club. So I hope you see you there. All right, so I'm still working on the same two projects as I was last week, but I have made some progress, so let me show those to you. It's a little awkward. I have my show notes on my lap this week, so I'll be looking down a fair bit. So first up is Simple Stripes by Suvi Samola. It's a sweater that looks like that. I am making it from 3 colors of Sweet Fiber Yarns Sweet Merino Light and 2 colors of Madeline Tosh Tosh Merino Light. So I have finished the body of the sweater. It's a top-down raglan, and just has some 1x1 ribbing at the top, and then the bottom of the sleeves and the bottom of the sweater are finished with this folded hem. So as for the yarns, this turquoise is called, I'll tell you the first 3 from Sweet Fiber first. So this is Sea Glass, this is Tea Leaves, and this is Smoke. And then the Tosh Merino Light, this is Cardinal, and this is Jupiter's Moon. So I'll bring them up nice and close so you can see the subtleties in all of the yarns. Sorry, I'm covering my face. So you can see the subtleties in all of the yarn because they are tonal as opposed to just flat color. And this one, as you can see, has some speckles, so I thought it would look good paired with this rusty red and this green. So yeah, I'm happy with how that is coming along. It fits really well, and I'm looking forward to getting the sleeves on here. So the other sweater that I've been working on is called Yellow Brick Rodeo by Mary Annarella of Lyrical Knits. And it's also a top-down sweater. This time it has a circular yoke, and I am knitting it in Fiber States Vivacious 4-ply in the deep teal colorway, and then the contrast is from Flock Fiber Studio. It is their Take a Hike sock in the Frozen Dawn colorway. I had started this as part of the Fiber Nymph Dye Works Make It Your Own Make-Along. My theme is the 4 seasons. I thought Frozen Dawn fit into that really well. But I wasn't able to get it done before the second quarter wrapped up. So I'm trying to finish it up before the third quarter starts in August, and I am well on my way. So I just have about another inch of ribbing to go. And then I had thought that if I had enough yarn, I would make the sleeves a little bit longer, but I'm not going to. I'm now, I have that much left. So not enough to make anything that's significantly longer. So I'm just going to knit it as written. And so once I finish the ribbing on the bottom here, I'll pick up along the edges, and I think you just do a row or two of plain knitting and then have about an inch of ribbing there. So I'll bring this up closer again so that you can see the subtleties of the yarn. I think it's a really pretty color. It's actually showing up quite true to color. So again, fits really well. I've been trying it on to make sure I'm at the right length and everything. And when I'm done, I think I'm going to have two really great new sweaters to add to my wardrobe. So I'm excited about that. I really do enjoy knitting sweaters. I don't always wear them maybe as much as I should or could, but I do live in a fairly moderate climate, and I'm indoors most of the time in the winter, fall, winter, spring, so it's not super often that I can wear one in the house. And but I do appreciate having fingering weight ones for that, because some days are a bit chilly and I can put one on its own or over a t-shirt sometimes. It's so warm right now, it's hard to imagine even needing a sweater. The heat has deterred the mosquitoes somewhat, but looking here, you can probably see I have a whole bunch right here. Some of these are fresh from yesterday. Some are leftovers from the last few days. I've got mosquito bites all over me, and I'm just trying not to scratch them. All right, so that is it for all I've been working on, but I do have lots of, I know some people call it dream knitting. I call it up and coming. The first thing I have up and coming, which is not a dream knit, it is a reality, is I have my August Personal Sock Yarn Club coming up. So I thought I would open my little bag for that here today. So there you go, August. I have a feeling, I think I might remember this one, but I'm not sure. I'll see if I'm right. There's going to be a lot of crinkling coming up, not just from this, just a fair warning. Okay, I just have to tear it here. Yes, it is the one I thought it might be. And I'm really excited about it. This is Pixel, dyed by Ginger Snap and Mrs. Snap That. This is the Hydrangea Pixel Mini Set, Puffy Fingering Weight, which is an 80/20 superwash merino and nylon. I bought this last fall at Knit City, Vancouver, and I am super excited to be knitting with it. It took me forever to decide on what color I wanted to buy, and I believe that I put this one in for one of the summer months because obviously hydrangea is a summer flower, and then I just realized too that it would count for my Fiber Nymph Dyeworks Meomal also. So that'll be great. Planned that well, didn't I? So yeah, I've got these two minis. So this sagey green and this bright purple. And then as you can see, both of those colors are in the main yarn. So I'm gonna do obviously some complementary heels, toes, and cuffs to go along with this. So super excited to get going on that, but I have to wait till August 1st. Oh no. That's okay. I have another pair of plain stockinette socks that I can work on in the meantime. I'm not showing them to you today because I don't think I've done anything since the last time I've showed you. And if I have, it's only, I don't know, a row or two or three. My second cup of tea today. All right. So, as I've mentioned several times already, the Fiber Nymph Dyeworks Meomel is starting again on August 1st. My theme is the 4 seasons, and so I've been thinking about some projects that I can do to fit in with that theme. And part of the component of this make along is that if you use, I can't remember if it's 200, I think it's 300 grams, I believe it's 300 grams of Fiber Nymph Dyeworks yarn in each quarter, then at the end of the year you will get a special free skein. And so I have achieved that for my first 2 quarters, and I want to do that for the next 2. So I am planning to do in each of the next 2 quarters a big project with Fiber Nymph Dyeworks yarn. So I haven't narrowed down which projects and which yarn for sure that I'm going to use, but I thought I would show you some of the things that I have been thinking about. So one thing, I have a bin sitting here. This is all of my Fiber Nymph Dyeworks yarn. It gets its own bin. It has gone down. I can actually close the lid properly now because I have used some up over the course of the year, but confessions, there's more coming. I placed an order last night. I'll talk about that a little bit as we go along. So anyway, one of the sets of yarns that I want to use is this Winter Palette half skein set. I think the lighting there is pretty good. I'll turn it around so you can maybe get a better look. There we go. So as you can see, there are 6 matching skeins, or coordinating or complementary, and a couple of projects that I'm considering for this yarn are a couple of shawls that have winter themes. So I'm going to put some pictures in from the Ravelry project pages as I go along so that you can see what these projects look like. So one is the Deep Winter Shawl by Lisa Metzgar. And then another is Winter Light by Meg Gadsby. And so both of them feature kind of gradient progressions with the as the shawl goes through. So I thought it would be really suitable for this yarn. And I may even go like from light to dark, or haven't decided which order I would use them in, but I just think that would be a nice use of this yarn. That obviously would fit into my 4 seasons theme. Another thing I've been looking at a lot are some autumn themed projects. I have this Serendipity project set. It is 5 skeins of the Bounce Fleece. Oh, that's not showing up very well. Let's see. I think this side will be better. There we go. So yeah, these are 5 full skeins of Bounce, and as you can see, there are several shades of this. I think it's called Iron Red. Yeah, it's dark to light iron red, and then there's one skein in here that's complementary to all of them. So I've considered just using these 3 and using them as a gradient in a sweater. I've also considered doing a sweater and having this as, say, a highlight around the yoke. Again, not completely sure, but one pattern that I've considered using just these 3 for a gradient is called Autumn Breeze by Andrea Yetman. So you will see that this sweater was done in a similar colorway to this, just not as a gradient. It features that nice pattern down the front. I also have a couple of other sweater quantities of Fiber Nymph Dye Works yarn. It is the Ridge Top Fingering Base, which is a non-superwash 80/20 Romney Falkland blend. And I have this set, which is Soot. And I also have this set, these three, which is, I think it's Merlot. Yes, Merlot. And then as you can see, I also have a full skein of Warm Honey. And I have 3 half skeins. This is another Warm Honey. This is Peacock, and this is Wisp. And Lisa of Fiber Nymph is, she's not able to get this base anymore. This is one that she had milled specially for her shop. And so she has dyed up the rest, and she's selling them off. And that sounds like a terrible way to do it, but she's dyed up the rest and is currently selling them. So there won't be any left when they're gone. So I have ordered another skein of Wisp because I thought that that would be a great contrast to either of the other two sets that I have. I've also ordered one that's called Habanero, which looks like an orangey red, which I thought might go really well with the Soot. I also ordered a blue, and then, there was a really nice, kind of a dusty, I think it's called Dusty Mauve, but to me it looks dusty pink, that I thought might complement the Merlot. And so I will find uses for the colors I don't use, but I didn't want to get to the point of knitting those and wishing that I had some coordinating skeins for some color work and not being able to access it anymore. So I've ordered those, and some of the different patterns that I've been looking at. Actually, another one realized another one I was looking at using these 3 skeins as a gradient is called Autumn Whirlpool by, don't know how to pronounce the name, Pelik Natalie. I suspect that might be a case of where someone puts their first name last and last name first. But then several colorwork sweaters that I'm considering for the Ridge Top Fingering are Foliage by Anna Johanna, Winterfell by Skein-Deer Knits, and Icefall by Tin Can Knits. So haven't settled on any of those yet, but those are the things I'm contemplating going into the 3rd and 4th quarters of Fiber Nymph Dye Works Meal Mel. Okay, I think that's it as far as the knitting stuff goes. So that brings us to what's been going on this past week. Well, first of all, I'm really pleased that only a week has passed since my last episode. It seems like in the last few months, it's just been really hard for me to record once a week. So I'm very happy to be getting another episode in so quickly, even if I don't have a lot of actual knitting to show you. You know, I've got a fair bit of content this week. So this week we got to meet our son's girlfriend's mom for the first time. We were supposed to meet both of her parents a few weeks ago and celebrate our son's girlfriend's birthday with them. here, but then we had gotten COVID and we're still recovering from it. It was just a little bit too close time-wise. Nobody wanted to take chances of, us passing it on. And so both of her parents, they live on a place called Salt Spring Island. It's one of the Gulf Islands. Sort of between here and Vancouver Island. And her mom competes in horse shows over here fairly regularly. She does dressage. And so she was over this past week for a horse show. And so we'd already arranged for her to come over here Thursday evening for dessert and get to meet her. But then as it turned out, we got to meet her on Monday instead because our son's girlfriend spared for us for ball. We were short women and she had been playing in a different league all year, which was all wrapped up. And so she came and helped us out. And so her mom sat in the dugout with me while I kept score. So we chatted a little bit then, and then we had a chance for a more lengthy visit on Thursday. So that was really nice, and hopefully soon we'll get to meet her dad too. Let's see, so speaking of ball, we had our last regular game on Monday, and then the year-end tournament took place on Saturday and Sunday. So thankfully the weather was not quite as hot as it's is going to be. Still pretty warm, but we ended up with our first game on Saturday at 8:30 in the morning. So even though I did not sleep well the night before and was really not ready to get up and be up and at 'em by, at the field by 8 o'clock, I was kind of tired and grouchy that morning to start with. It was nice to be able to play in the relative cool of the day. And then we didn't have our next game until 3 o'clock. No, 3 o'clock. And so after the first game, some of us gathered at a teammate's house and had lunch there, had a barbecue for lunch, and then all of us went back to the field for 1 o'clock because they were doing all the year-end awards at that time. And then we just came home for a little bit before we headed back to the field for 3 o'clock. And the 3 o'clock game definitely was warmer, but not too bad. So, and we had a bye. That's why we only played 2 games on Saturday. Normally we would have played 3. So we won 1, lost 1, and then with the bye, that put us in the running. I think we finished second for our division, which meant we played a game at 2:30, and if we had won that game on Sunday, then we would have gone on to play in the final. But we did not, and like we did in the mid-season tournament, we got to go sit in the beer garden instead. In the mid-season, we were able to sit out of the rain, and this time we were able to sit in the shade while the other 2 teams duked it out for first place. So it wasn't necessarily a bad thing to lose that game. And then Cameron and I came home after that, and we ended up walking down to a local pub and having dinner there. So it's kind of a nice way to end up the weekend. I'm gonna take a sip of tea, just take a glance at my notes, see what else I've got to talk about. Oh yes, so this coming weekend is a long weekend here in British Columbia. It's the BC Day long weekend. Monday is BC Day. Some of the other provinces also celebrate their day on the Monday, and I think it's the rest do the following weekend. In any case, it is a long weekend here, and then on Thursday is our 38th wedding anniversary, so Cameron is taking that day off plus the Friday, so we're going to end up with a 5-day long weekend. And we'd sort of contemplated going somewhere and decided, especially because it's going to be quite warm for a lot of those days and would be quite warm going anywhere. For instance, if we'd gone up to the cabin, it would be very warm there with no air conditioning. So we've decided that we're going to have a bit of a staycation. Thursday, we're just going to hang out here and just enjoy a lazy day, and then we are going to go out for dinner to celebrate our anniversary. And then the next day we're planning to do a little bit of a wine tour. We have some relatively local wineries, some that we have visited and some that we haven't. So we're going to do a little wine tour that day. The next day we're talking about going up to Manning Park, which is a provincial park about an hour, a little more than an hour's drive from here, and do a hike. It's not a strenuous hike, it's more like a trail walk. We've done it before in the fall and winter, and I have included it at various times some footage from those hikes on various podcasts. But we've only ever gone around there's the Lightning Lakes chain, and the lake kind of narrows out and then widens again, narrows out, widens again. There's a bridge across the main lake, and you can do a loop trail. And that's all we've ever done. Sometimes we go this direction, sometimes we go this direction. But I think we're going to try and do the whole chain. I think I looked at it, it's about 11 kilometers, and they estimate it takes about 3 hours. So it is supposed to be a little bit cooler up there on Saturday, although it will probably be kind of busy because it is a long weekend. I'm sure there are a lot of people camping, but that's sort of the plan as of now, is to do that hike on Saturday. And then either Sunday or Monday, we're planning to go golfing again, if it's not too hot, because yeah, it's no fun out on the golf course if you're cooking your, cooking. I was going to say something a little less polite, but that's okay. Yes, if you're cooking hot, we won't necessarily do that. So we'll just see how the weather goes. So yeah, it'd be kind of nice, some good balance of just chilling here and doing some things together that are, a little out of the ordinary. Okay, I think that is it. So that brings me to something good for this episode, and that is that earlier this week we found out that we will be included in the next trip for my husband's work. So normally every 2 years they do incentive travel for their customers. So for a number of years it was a cruise, and then the last few years they've been alternating between a cruise and an all-inclusive. So back in the fall of 2021 is when the trip was supposed to take place, and it is at an all-inclusive in Mexico. That was supposed to take place on the west coast near Cabo San Lucas. Then that because of COVID, got pushed ahead to January of 2022, only on the west coast of Mexico near Cancun. And again, that got canceled because of COVID, and it is now hopefully going to take place this October near Cancun. So we got the official invite when the staff that go act as hosts for the customers. We will host a table of customers every night for dinner, and you're just generally supposed to interact and schmooze and all that. We have been fortunate enough to go on all of them since 1999, so every 2 years. We've seen some incredible places. Our first one was to Hawaii. We've been to Australia. We've been to Europe several times. New York 1 year. Yeah, we've been so fortunate to be able to go on them, and so we are definitely looking forward to this upcoming trip. Like many others, we have not ventured too far from home because of COVID the last few years, so it's nice to think of actually going on a real trip where you get on an airplane and fly somewhere. So yeah, that's my something good. And I guess that brings us to the end of this episode. So as always, I want to thank all of you for watching, and I also want to thank all of you for the various comments and personal notes that I've gotten from all of you this past week. I always appreciate hearing from you. I have not been as present this last week as I would like to be, and I suspect with our kind of staycation coming up that you won't see me much online this coming week either, but know that I do appreciate all of you who are taking part in the Year of the Stash, and also always appreciate the whenever you reach out via social media, whether it be YouTube or Ravelry. So keep them coming. Thank you. I hope you all have a good week ahead. I am hoping to record again next week. We'll just see how things go. Tomorrow I have my 2 younger grandkids that I'm watching for a day, and I expect I'll be doing that the week after too. So I'll try and fit in an episode around that. So anyway, take care, have a great week ahead, and I hope to see you again very soon. Bye for now.